thanks to our great sponsors, Jack Burford Chevrolet, ExpressRoofing.net, Cumberland Valley National Bank, CSEP, State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goble Agent, Luxury Pet Services, Equipment, Sales and Rentals, May Marketing, KYmedia.net, Real Life Community Church, Time Warner Cable, and Madison County Schools.
Welcome to the Coach Mark Thinner Show. Hi, I'm Samantha Burford with Madison County School Sports Television. We want you to watch the Coach Mark Thinner Show.
We look forward to seeing you on Madison County School Sports Television.
Welcome to the Coach Mark Center Show. I am Samantha Burford. We're here at Jack Burford Chevrolet. That just kind of rolls off the tip of the tongue. I say that every one of our shows, but we kind of take over their customer service lounge, and we really appreciate them being your sponsor and being one of our coaches' sponsors. And we love that they just kind of let us take over. And more importantly, we love football playoff time.
It's here. Very close anyway.
It is. I'm super excited about it. Okay, so in case you didn't know, last Friday night, very big win over GRC. The final score was 49-6, and that put you guys into second place in your district.
Right.
So that was really nice because I guess Lafayette just had their big win Friday night over Tate's Creek, so they are first in the district. Mm-hmm. And I mean, they're a good team.
Right.
We got to give them kudos to that, but you will definitely take second. This is a difficult district you're in.
Yeah, very, very good district that we're in. Lafayette, one of the state powers in 6A, and doing a very good job. And Tate's Creek has a very good team. And we feel like we're pretty solid. GRC's been struggling of late, but they have a lot of talent up there as well. So we feel very good about our district. Feel very good about our district's chances in the playoffs. With the rotation, we'll be paired up against District 6 from Northern Kentucky, which is Simon Kenton, Campbell County, who will have Boone County, and then because it's a three-team district in Northern Kentucky, the fifth place team out of District 3 becomes the fourth place team in District 6. So that's Louisville Butler. So Lafayette and us, we will be hosting playoff games.
Yes.
So Lafayette hosts Butler. We host Campbell County. Boone County pulled what some people thought was an upset. Others have thought that they had a real shot in this game. So they beat Campbell County last week to secure second place in their district. So that means they will get to host Tate's Creek, and then Simon Kenton will host GRC.
Okay.
In the first round playoffs. So a lot of people are waiting on tiebreakers and things to shake out, but our districts are pretty cut and dried, so that's the playoff matchup for. I'm assuming they're going to call this Region 4, the rotation thing.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
The rotation thing always messes me up as far as what region we're actually in, but you know
what? It just matters you're playing.
We get to the region finals, and I don't care if they call it Region 12 as long as we have a shot to win.
Exactly, as long as you're there.
That's right.
Absolutely. So November 4th, you guys have another home football game, so that's fantastic. It's much better to play at home.
Well, it is, and a lot of folks being matched up against Northern Kentucky again. I've had a lot of folks already tell me that they're excited to get to see playoff football and not have to make a 2.5 hour drive to do it. So, it's very exciting to get to host a playoff game. It's certainly one of our small goals for the season, and we're glad to get to achieve that. Should be a great night, great atmosphere. The weather this year has just been insanely good for this late in the year. I haven't even shut down my pool yet. Nobody's swimming in it, but it's
it's a little cold in the
I would say
evening.
Haven't had time to shut down.
I was getting ready to say, and that is a good problem to have.
But yeah,
you don't have time to take care of the pool.
That's right.
It's football season.
yeah, clearly. but it's just amazing what kind of weather we've had, and it looks like that it's forecasting out for the next couple of weeks to continue to be very, very nice and kind of cool football weather, but not bitterly cold and certainly not too hot. So we're excited about that. Need a big crowd, need a huge crowd to turn out for a home playoff game.
Yes.
And really show these guys. Hopefully, our kids have worked very hard, and I feel like they deserve a big crowd. I hope that we have a huge crowd. I hope we have an enormous student section. I hope our students really take the opportunity to get behind the guys and make the most out of playoff football and show them. We have kind of a reputation of Central not being the most opponent-friendly place to come in and play in all of our sports, and we want to make sure that our student section, our crowd, is making a lot of noise and having a lot of fun.
When you say that, describe what you mean. Do you mean because there's not a lot of fans in the stands?
Oh no,
or?
I mean just the exact opposite.
Okay, gotcha.
With the basketball.
I thought maybe
teams,
they were saying it was boring.
No. Basketball.
Okay.
With our student section is really live in basketball.
Okay.
Our pep club does a great job in all things, and they've been very very good in terms of what we've had. Our student sections have been really good this year. I felt like even fall break we had
you did on that Thursday night.
On that Thursday night, and that was huge. And I think they're doing a great job. And they're building excitement around it. They're loud. They're and our guys appreciate that.
Always a theme.
Right. And
they always have a theme, whether they're in toga gear or
exactly. And with the numbers, I'd love to see that student section overflowing because like I say, a lot of the big regular season basketball games, and certainly when the district tournament shows up at Eastern and things like that, there's always a huge student section, and they're making a lot of noise and getting it. And we would like to have that same type of atmosphere at the football game. Being the playoffs, that's the equivalent to our district tournament and region tournament. So it actually is really when you break it down, the first round of the football playoffs is very similar to the first round of the region tournament in basketball because of the way everything pairs off. So it's it's a big night. It's going to be a fun night, and folks from Campbell County may not really know what Madison Central is about. So we need some folks to show the good side of Madison Central and the fun side of Madison Central, and get behind these guys, and hopefully we'll make a good showing on the football field.
Have you guys played Campbell County since you've been here?
I meant to do that before coming in. I actually had that question.
Scratch that question.
Yeah, I actually had that question come up earlier in the day, and I've got to go back in our record.
I don't remember it, but
in recent memory, I know that the two schools have not matched up, and I would think that it's been maybe one or two times at most, but I will have that information later. But right now,
because someone else is going to ask you.
Yeah, it's different.
The media. What about it?
Played. We played Simon Kenton, I think, 3 times, which is, the opponent that we would most likely meet up with in the second round.
Okay.
Obviously Madison Central and Boone County have met up a couple of times, and I believe I recall seeing Butler, but for whatever reason, Campbell County is eluding me of whether, and maybe that's the exact reason.
And maybe
they
that's
haven't
why,
met. That's why I've lost over it. So.
Could very well be. Somebody can be, like they do in the debates, they can be fact-checking us and call in and give us an update.
Yeah, I try to be diligent about that stuff. I email Randy and Ben, our PA guy, and all the local media, kind of a media packet each week. And
see, I'm getting a call right now. They're probably calling to tell us.
They're telling you, right?
They're calling to tell us.
Plus, it's
right
unknown,
now.
so
it could be somebody. We're not live, so too bad for that.
That's right. But I try to keep that up to date. I think everything that we can do to promote the program is this show is important for promoting the program. We try to do as much as we can to promote the positive side of the program and the positive side of our school.
Right.
I don't want to get on too much of a soapbox, but I'm pretty proud of Madison Central. I'm proud of our football program. I'm proud of our school, and it hurts all of us when those negative headlines come out about our school and things like that, and because that's not who we are. That is not who this school is. We've got a ton of kids doing great things. Our band is phenomenal. Our cheerleaders are phenomenal. Our sports teams are strong in every category. And and not to mention we've got a bunch of good kids doing great things in the classroom too. So, that's the Madison Central that needs to be talked about more, in my opinion. And I appreciate opportunities like this to do it.
Good. Well, we're happy to have you here. And I'm sporting cheerleading right now because I know their big season is upon us. They always have their regional competitions, usually around November. And then while we're talking about it, you mentioned the band.
Yeah.
They have qualified to go to the state band competition in Louisville this weekend.
Yes.
So they won't be around Friday. I think they're missing school part of Friday practicing.
Probably so.
And then they're going to be all day Saturday. I think they really compete Saturday late
Right.
afternoon. But it's in Papa John Stadium. And so we're really hoping for that three-peat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What about it?
You know, huge week all around.
Yes,
with our
it's
school.
a big sports week.
Region volleyball going on
Yes,
right now.
the girls.
That's going
Yes.
on right now.
They're playing awesome, too.
Yes, making a
Start of
national-
basketball.
Yeah, that right around the corner.
Yep.
Soccer guys just wrapped up.
Yes.
State championship week for band. We're playing a pretty important game Friday
Yeah,
night.
we're going to get there. I saved that for the end for the viewers.
Yeah, we've got a pretty important game coming Friday night, and then rolling into playoff football. So,
Yeah.
no shortage of great things to see with our kids.
I was going to say, there's not too much bad press out there. Other than maybe a few people talk about how overcrowded the school might be. I've been getting some of that, but I know we've talked about that in the past. So other than that, I don't think we hear too many bad things. Now, you as a coach might hear other things. You might get a few parents that say, you got to play such and such over here and such over here.
Yeah.
You know, those Sunday morning quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's part
That's
of it.
every sport, isn't it?
Yeah, it's part. Not too many of us coaches didn't already know that when we
Yeah.
signed up. So
You guys
it's
don't even do like social media anymore, do you? Well, you're on
I
Twitter.
run the Twitter.
Yeah, you're on Twitter,
Yeah,
so-
we and the big thing with our county, I'm just trying to get out, information to the kids. It's a great
Yes.
way to get out information to folks. It's a good way to, and it is a good way to promote the program.
Yes.
In things. You got to be so careful.
Yes.
Social media is tough.
It
really,
can be.
It can be very tough, and it opens up. When you put yourself out there, you put yourself out there.
Yes.
So it opens up the opportunity for those the people that want to get their opinions out to get them out. And
Yes.
that's okay too.
You listen.
It's part of the deal.
It's part of coaching.
But it's in this job you got to have thick skin, and you got to have a mission and a path, and stay true to it. And it
Has your skin gotten thicker? That's hard to say. Has your skin gotten thicker as you've done this more years?
That's a tough question. I don't know. I'd say it depends on who you talk to.
Your wife might say
yeah,
no.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. It's part of it. But again, our mission, and I'm so proud of our coaching staff.
Yes.
And the men that
Fantastic.
we have helping with our programs and stuff at all levels. Freshman football just wrapped up. They started off the season rough, but ended up winning 4 out of their last 5, which was a great job by them. And our JV finished with a winning record, 4-2 on the season. Did a nice job there, and I'm really proud of our guys and our coaches. And our mission is to build good quality young men, and football is a definite avenue, a definite tool to do that. But there's I'm far more concerned with the type of young men that we're putting out.
Yes.
And we've got great kids.
Yes.
We've got fantastic kids, and it's good. All of us have roles in life. All of us have things that we're good at. All of us have things that we need to have to work on. All of us have jobs that are important that we have to do, and all of us have jobs that are important that we want to do. And that's a great thing about football, because it kind of gives you the opportunity to see all that. Sometimes you do something that you have to do in order to get to do something that you want to do. And I could go on for days about how important I think football is to a young man and the development of young men. But I'll just leave it to the fact that I think that it's wonderful for teaching life lessons. But
Yes.
more importantly, I think it's wonderful the discipline, the character side of it to keep kids going in the right direction.
Well, I will tell you this: when I am down on the sideline right before the half, when I run out and grab you, but for our halftime interview, they are always very kind to me. I don't hear any rough talking, or they're usually cheering each other on and complimenting each other and saying good job and you can do this and way to go and different things like that. And then they're always, they move out of my way because I run out to grab you. So, and I'm always worried I'm going to get run over. They're always very kind around there when I'm there. So you've done a wonderful job.
Well, their parents have sent wonderful kids to us.
Yes.
Our coaches are doing a great job, and the kids themselves are doing a great job, and that's the most important thing. And we do have good kids. We have strong student athletes. Our team GPA is hovering somewhere in the low 3.2 range right now. We got
That's
a lot
impressive.
of guys with really strong ACT scores. We've got good kids.
Yes.
We're grateful for them.
And I can say this, and I'm guessing you would agree with me, but your team has done what it's supposed to do this year. They've controlled the ball, they've worked defensively, and your team has gotten better every game. And that Lexington Catholic game, do you feel like it's just soared since that game? It's just shot up.
Yeah, I do think that was a confidence booster for our guys, but and I'm in no way taking anything away from Lexington Catholic when I say this, because I think we actually said it the week after in the show. That's an important game for us. It was an important game for us, I think from a program standpoint and from a confidence standpoint in our kids. I do believe that it was an important game because, they were perhaps getting it from some of their peers that they were going to, that we weren't going to be able to be successful in that game. And to be successful in that game, kind of helps, build that for sure. But, the process really started long before that. In the getting better, our guys, I think, took seriously the message that we told them. The game in Bryan Station, again, another really strong, really athletic team. But our guys kind of knew that if we did a few things better, that game would have been different. And that 3-point loss really stuck with our guys for a long time. Perhaps still a little bit, and which is a good thing, because they realized that they were disappointed in not getting something done that they knew they could get done.
They could do
so
it.
It served as a motivating factor. And while Lexington Catholic is a phenomenal team and always a state championship contender, it seems like in 3A, as a 6A school, we need to build this program to where it is the expectation for us to beat solid teams at every level, and you're not going to win every game, but no question about it. And Lexington Catholic, I mean, they play Trinity, and they play Ryle, and they play us, and
a lot of those Louisville teams.
They'll traditionally have a Louisville team on their schedule that's a strong football team. They'll traditionally have a Northern Kentucky team. They don't back down, and that's why I think they are so successful on the 3A level, because they consistently compete against 5 and 6A competition, and so when they get to their level of play, they've developed more depth, they've developed more, and so I think that helps their program be successful as well. And again, it's great for us because we get a chance to play against a top-notch, well-coached, much different team. But we need to have our program to the point to where we expect to win those games, and that has helped the improvement. And a lot of things have gotten better. Our offense at the beginning of the year, we were looking for playmakers, and playmakers have emerged as the season went along. I'm going to tell you something that don't get enough credit. It is the development of our offensive line as a unit.
I was going to say that.
The development of our offensive line has been huge, over the course of the season.
And they don't get a lot of credit. We don't talk about them a lot on our show.
No, they don't. And the true offensive lineman, that's exactly how he wants it, because you won't find a better teammate than an offensive lineman ever. We used to have the saying in clinics, one of these days the offensive lineman is going to be the guy with the best looking wife. He's going to be the most successful guy. He's going to have the job making the most money, because he's the guy who doesn't care about himself. He's the guy who cares about everyone else
and making them do a good job.
Exactly. And that's their job is to make everyone else better, and that's why I love offensive linemen. I always will. Every position is important, and every position has a huge value. But just the nature of a good offensive lineman, that's kind of where it's at. And Coach Goldie has done a fantastic job in developing our offensive line. And we've got a couple of good seniors up there, in Danny Thompson at center and Nathan Britt at our right guard spot, and those guys have done a great job of improving. Nathan's a little bit small, for an offensive lineman. You look at him and you'd never suspect that he's an offensive lineman, but
because he's not built the way most are.
About 5'10", about 175 pounds, but he's strong and he is smart, and he gets himself in position to make plays, and it just does your heart good as a coach to watch him just wearing out somebody about twice his size, because his technique is right where it should be, and he's put himself in a good position. That's fun, man. That's a neat part of the game. And then, both of those guys are such good leaders with that group, and have really stepped into that senior leadership role. And then you got Blake Setzer at the other guard, who has stepped in and done a fantastic job. And, as he was coming up out of the freshman program, we kind of saw him more as a defensive lineman, and he has just dove into the offensive line role and done such a great job with that. Blake Hammond's lunchbox.
We've talked about him.
He's our anchor, and he takes pride in that role as being, you know, our main guy as far as our focal point, our anchor guy up front. If there is such a thing as a main guy on the offensive line, you know, he's the one that kind of gets that attention. And then Drake Harris has done, a sophomore, kind of doing what Lunchbox did last year, starting at the right tackle spot as a sophomore, has just done a phenomenal job. And you know, we were talking to him the other day, and I heard, you know, Goldie's made the mention, you know, Drake, you're not a sophomore anymore, because you've got, you know, now 9 starts under your belt on varsity offensive line, and you know, it's time to continue his progression forward. And he's doing a fantastic job too, and you know, a bunch of guys doing great jobs pushing them and making them better. You know, we've got guys like Chase Karzewski and Cole Baker and Eric Courtney and Chase Short and you know, a couple other guys that are really, you know, right there pushing, making sure that we're getting better as a group, and they're a tight-knit group, and you know, the better the offensive line, our running game's better, our passing game's better.
Yeah, it helps the quarterback. It helps everybody.
Yeah, that's right. So,
it helps the entire offense.
Yeah.
And which, like I mentioned, it has improved, I believe, every game.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start with Zach Harden.
Yeah.
I do believe he has improved.
He has.
Every game.
He's playing with more confidence.
Yes.
He's perhaps playing with more confidence than he's ever played with. Which is great.
Yes.
And you know, it certainly doesn't hurt matters any when he's got Keenan Miller outside wide playing out of his mind. You know, and you know, Evan Harris has been a threat out wide, and Keenan's been making plays, all kinds of plays, you know, and then our halfbacks are making plays in the passing game. And you know, again, we were looking for guys to emerge as playmakers, and as those guys have emerged, Zach is gaining more and more trust in them, and you know, he's doing a fantastic job of running the offense and helping us get people where they need to be, and then the other guys are making plays.
Yeah.
And you know, this game is all about making plays.
I've got here that he made 4 touchdown passes, but what I want to important to know is that he's made 17 touchdown passes this entire season, and I'm thinking he's made 14 of them in the last. I'm going to say 4 games.
I think I checked that. I may be wrong.
We need a fact checker.
I think he's at 18.
18 now. Okay.
And
I missed one.
And he's had. Let me see. I want to be right on this, because I'm pretty sure that he's thrown for 4 of the last 3 games in a row.
Yeah. Yes.
I know he had 4 against Stage Creek. I know he had 4 against Lafayette, and I'm pretty sure they had 4. Because we had 5 total, because Derek had 1. So he had So another another huge night. You know, and again, you know, at the right time, because we, you know, coming out of open week, we hit district play, and that's when we need to be playing our better ball. You know, we talked then about season 1 over, season 2.
Yes.
Well, we're coming up on the last game of season 2 and getting ready to start
season 3.
Real season 3. And that's where you again, you play for November, you play for the playoffs. That's where teams are going to do things to be remembered.
Yes. I also want to mention he was 10 for 12 passes for 188 yards.
Yeah, solid night all the way around.
Yes.
Good decisions, you know. 10 for 12 is a good night any night, but you know, certainly being able to get the ball in the playmaker's hands, did a really good job with that.
And I want to mention it was senior night.
Absolutely.
So a very special night.
Absolutely.
For a lot of your seniors.
Yeah.
So many of them. You have quite a few.
And you know, for those guys, with the exception of, I guess, Zach and maybe Jabari, and I'm not sure, maybe a couple others, but I'm not sure how many of those guys dressed varsity their freshman year. But for the vast majority of our senior class, the first time getting GRC on their home field. So that was pretty cool too.
Okay, yes. See, that's a stat I didn't know. There you go. All right, so Harden had 2 passes to Keenan Miller. He had a 39 and a 32-yard.
Yep. Seam down the middle and the screen pass.
Yeah, and it was a great picture of him in the papers Saturday. Yes. It was fun. And I'm sure, you know, we got to have him on the show eventually.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm sure he's a great kid. And
fantastic.
We need to get, I was going to say, the Hahn kid. We need to get Harden. We need to get Miller. We need to get, is it Hughley?
Yeah.
Yep, we gotta get them all on.
Yep, that's what we need to do. Just
Just have them all
have
on.
the show out at practice and just
We'll just say, okay, you come on over. Now you come on over. Yeah. Okay, and then Antoine Wofford. Let's talk about him. He had a pair of touchdowns.
yeah, another one of those sophomores that's emerging. Han kind of emerged early and has been a real steady contributor. And the more comfortable he has gotten, the better things gone. And then Antoine, has really, he always from last year even, middle school, watching these guys play when they were in middle school, you could see that Antoine has a very special skill set. He has a lot of talent, and he is working very hard in practice. He has earned his way into the time that he is getting now, and he's taking full advantage of it. And you got to be proud of a kid for doing that. I mean, the way that he has put himself in position, and he's not afraid to make plays. He can flat go make them. Good speed, good size for a sophomore, and just he can make plays. And he may be as dangerous on the defensive side of the ball as the offensive side of the ball, but we've just been in a position where the offense is where he's kind of risen to the occasion here lately. But yeah, 2 touchdowns out of a sophomore there, one rushing, 1 receiving, and and he had a huge touchdown against Lafayette a couple weeks ago. The big touchdown where he kind of. Zach was scrambling. He kind of got lost on the side, and the big touchdown there to tie it at 21. So he is really stepped up and playing well and being a playmaker. And like we said, we're looking for playmakers all the time.
Yeah. Next, we want to talk about Gavin.
Yeah.
He scored your first touchdown.
Yeah, and stepped in and did a really good job. First start at the running back, at the one back spot, the running back, our main back, because we kind of been a little bit cautious with Jabari and had a little turf toe going on, so trying to be cautious with him, and he's Gavin did a great job of stepping in that situation, and of course Jabari's doing a real good job. He's back at practice this week and working well, so we're excited about that too. And so, but that depth, Gavin is a real key and a real example of that depth that's so important. I talk all the time about the depth needed to be able to really compete at 6A, and Gavin's done a great job doing that. Junior that really developed through that JV program, freshman, freshman JV program. Now he steps into his junior year, gets a chance to play, and makes the most of it.
How nice is it that, you can pull people in like that your team, that okay, somebody can't do this, let's bring somebody else in.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge because, football is a game of attrition. There are going to be bumps and bruises. There are going to be injuries. There's going to be things that, and the greatest thing about it is you've got guys that are not just out there gassed. You've got guys that we have a pretty good luxury this year of starting 11 different guys on offense,
and not have them playing offense and defense.
And certainly we've got some guys that contribute on both sides of the ball here and there, but we do have at least from the starting standpoint, 11 guys on O and 11 guys on D, so that gives them a real benefit to be able to get over there and make adjustments on the sideline, to be able to get over there and get a quick rest and get back on the field. And that's certainly been a big thing for us. And, it's something that's important, as we move forward, to hopefully be able to continue that push. It's a big key.
So after halftime, you guys had one more touchdown before you got into the running clock.
Right.
That enabled you to play a little bit more players.
Yeah.
How did that go?
Well,
we all know it went great, but I want to know your thoughts.
It was good. It's so hard, and because you get in that situation, and my thought process, of course, I think we talked about this at halftime. I wanted to get those kids an opportunity to play. I want to get all of our kids an opportunity to play, and contrary to popular belief, I really do want to see all of our kids get a chance to play.
Yes.
I would love to be able to get every kid in every game if we could, and the timing and the matchups, and there's a lot that goes into that decision making process about doing that. But but once that clock starts running, it goes so fast.
The running clock.
Yes.
Yes.
It really changes the dynamic of the game because it goes very quickly, and you're trying to get guys in and get them in the position that they can be most successful at. And we had guys that were were ready and waiting to go in the side on the sideline the other night, and we just, at the end of the game, I can't remember. We just, it seemed like we just didn't get the ball back in time to get the offensive guys on. We played quite a lot of defensive guys. We got several guys in the game. I wish we could have got them all. But it kind of worked out as it did. But some guys stepped in and did some good things, and one thing I will say, kind of on top of that, it's not always young guys who are the ones that we're trying to get in the game. Sometimes it's those seniors who have worked their tail off and paid their dues and really done a lot for our program in terms of being great practice scout team guys every day, great guys that work hard and ready to get their opportunity to go in. Tannen scoring that touchdown is a great example of that. And it's great to see those guys get an opportunity to step in.
And he's a senior, right?
Yeah, he's a senior, and he's a guy that spent a lot, his sophomore year completely trying to play quarterback. And just and prepared well and last year was as a backup quarterback prepared well, and I always, when I saw he's a big kid, good sized kid, and I always thought that he would develop on the defensive side of the ball, and certainly he's been in a situation where he's been in some pretty key backup roles there as well, but he came to me back in the spring and made a request to move wide receiver, and he has done very well out there, and to get to see that payoff of him getting that touchdown on senior night is pretty cool. I was really happy for him, and happy for Derek, a sophomore quarterback coming in, and going 1 for 1 on the night, and his one pass being a touchdown pass, pretty cool for your first varsity completion to be a touchdown. So,
I think that's pretty impressive.
So,
he's going to want that more now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He's going to feel
That's right.
He's going to feel it. He's going to be like, I want more.
And I certainly hope.
Those guys are all so competitive anyway. They're going to want that.
Right. And I definitely hope that that's a motivating factor for him moving into our spring. And, because, spring ball is going to be very, very important for anybody who is competing for any position, but certainly with Derek and the development of the team and things. And, spring's a long time away, but in my world, it's not that far away at all.
Right. Well, they call GRC our cross-county, do you call it a cross-county? I mean, where our counties
river?
touch. I was getting ready to say it really should be more across the river.
Well, the jug says battle for the bridge, so.
There you go, because there is a bridge in between.
Yeah.
I remember the day when it used to be a one-lane bridge.
Mm.
You had to wait till everybody, till they built the new bridge.
Take turns.
That's making me old. I shouldn't say that. But no, that's when you could hang out down at Boonesboro and on the river, and they had the beach down there and all that. So that was many years ago. But anyway, so past all that, let's move right on into this coming Friday. It's kind of like this. Exciting. So that's more of across town.
Yeah.
In the same county. So for those of you that don't know, Central Southern played this Friday night. Your thoughts?
Well, it's a very important game. It comes at a really important time. The great thing about the game, and again, this will be Coach Clark and I think, I don't want to speak for him, but in our conversations, we really liked this game week 10. It was sometimes it's hard to schedule week 10, and being able to have our rivalry game week 10 has been good for this scheduling cycle. It's going to bump back up into September. Our ADs, I think, at both respective schools are hoping that the attendance is really, really high. Mm-hmm. I feel like attendance will be very high this week. I think it's going to be a great game.
I do too. Good weather.
Yeah, good weather. Both programs are having great seasons.
Yes.
Those guys, have won their district and done a great job in it. And,
you both are 7-2.
Both of us coming in with good records and strong teams. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere. I have no doubt. I want our people to travel. We've got to turn that home field advantage around a little bit, and there's absolutely no reason why in the world you wouldn't get down there for that game. At least I hope. It's perhaps if you've got church or revival or something going on, we'll excuse you. But as soon as that's over, come on over.
to Berea. It's going to be a much different game than 2 years ago when you were there.
Well,
do you remember that?
It was a circus.
With Damien Harris, it was crazy. Coach Stoops flying in on his helicopter.
The helicopter and all that stuff. So it was definitely a different deal that night for sure. But
yes.
But at the same time,
it's football.
Minus the helicopter and Stoops, it might not be that different. I feel like a big crowd. I know our guys are excited. Very excited, about the opportunity to play. And again, the best thing about it is, both of us after this week will get to go on our respective runs for what we hope ends in a state championship.
That's right.
Madison Southern's got a good football team. I fully expect them to be right there in the mix for a region championship. The way that their 5A district and matches up, I feel like that they have a very good path in what I've kind of briefly seen. I don't really have time to pay attention to much other than us, but I am a high school football fan, so I like to keep up with it. But I think they've got a very good path. I think they have an excellent opportunity themselves to make a run at a region championship and possibly beyond. And I'm also excited about the potential path that we have to win a region championship and hopefully beyond. Because, that's the deal here, in playoff time. If you win a region, you're in the Final Four in the state. So you've got a shot, in your class at least.
Exactly,
you're in the Final Four in the state. And so you've got a real shot at doing something incredible. So, after this week, we will shake hands and wish them the best of luck, and hopefully they'll do us the same and pull for each other in the playoffs. But this week we got a little business to attend to.
That's right. And Southern just won their district, so this is the second year in a row they've won their district. I'm gonna say this. This is easy to say, but I think it's going to come down to whoever makes the fewest mistakes. But I think you have a secret weapon. I think your secret weapon is Landon White.
Well, he's going to be key. He was key last year, and I have no doubt that he could be key this year. Last year, I think the comment was made that special teams could be a deciding factor in the game. That could very well become the case again this year. It's we both of us take great pride in our defense. Both of us have offensive that have been explosive. And special teams can be perhaps a deciding factor. I'm going to be honest with you. I hope that
he is your secret.
I hope that we take care of business on all three phases, and I know they do too. So
I think their secret weapon, you'd call him Carter Smith.
Well, that's not a secret.
It's not a secret.
That's not a secret. That guy kicks. I'm pretty sure he
does
punts,
it all.
He kicks off. He runs the football and he makes tackles. So he's no secret.
That's right.
That may be a really poor.
I think he was the key to their big stop on 4th down the other night. They were on the 1 yard line stopping, and I thought, holy moly, the kid's got it.
Yep.
Talented.
Runs the ball well.
He does it all.
Runs the ball well, tackles well. But now, that being said, they have a very nice football team. They have a lot of guys making plays. A lot of guys doing a good job. Landon Stacy's doing a good job running their offense. Have several guys contributing in the backfield. The Richardson kid is a nice football player. The Eads, H. Eads boy, his name, I apologize, his name's skipping me, but H. Eads boy is doing
Nate Eads, that's it. I couldn't come up with it either, right? Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. They've got a lot of guys. The living good boy on the line is a really good football player. They're doing a lot of good things. I have a lot of respect for what they're doing. Certainly, that my goal for this rivalry has always been for it to be a very good and very hot and very highly contested rivalry, but a very clean and a very passionate and a very good-natured rivalry. I believe in my heart that can be done, and the best thing. And I want the kids to have fun, but nobody's going to want to win worse than us. And so, that's kind of the message that I'm taking into it, and that's the way I want our kids to respond. And of course, they're going to be excited. Both teams are going to be.
Yes.
So.
Well, and I do believe everyone knows I interview both coaches. you guys are both very similar in your goals. You both want to win, but you both want to create, as we've talked numerous shows and tonight's show, good, solid sportsmanship that's going to create good men after football's over. And you both want that. And I think that's why there's such a good, clean rivalry, because there's not going to be any of that hostility.
Well, these boys are going to be the leaders of this community for the
Right.
next, 15 or 20 years. When they grow up, a lot of those kids are going to stay around here, and so, they're going to need to lead and represent our community in a good and right way.
Yes.
And that's it's going to be important, because when I'm old and walking around on crutches, I don't want our
They're going to
community
be
messed
taking
up.
care of you.
Yeah, well, it might be.
If your sons won't do it, well, maybe some of the football guys will come help you.
My boys will do just fine. But that's the thing. Heck, I might have to ask one of them for a job one of these days. I don't want. I'm not going to. We better be raising good guys.
That's exactly right. Yes, your boys are fine. They'll take good care of you. They'll put you in the finest home around.
Yeah, really. Yeah. That's why my wife and I were blessed to have our daughter, because I have somebody that will actually take care of me.
That will actually take care of you.
Yeah,
That's right.
She'll take care of her daddy.
I love it. Now, the students, we got to make sure you guys got to show up on Friday, both sides, to make it a fun rivalry. Got to keep it clean. I know last year the student club, the pep club, they had shirts, those black shirts that said Sad South. But I haven't heard of any shirts this year, Coach. Have you?
I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if something showed up. But,
I wouldn't either.
But I haven't heard anything like that. But just have fun.
Keep it clean.
Have fun. Cheer for your team. Have a great time. Cheer for your school. Cheer for your team. Cheer for your friends. And when it's all said and done, let's both go make a run in the playoffs, because I'm certain that Coach is kind of thinking the same thoughts. But what? Let's have a good game. Let's have a good, clean game. Let's make sure we keep everybody healthy and ready to go.
You got to keep playing.
Because the bottom line, the legacies for our teams are going to be left in November.
That's right. Well, and maybe everybody will come in costume. Not you guys, the fans. I mean, it is close to Halloween.
Could be.
No scary clowns.
No clowns and no masks.
That's right.
No
clowns and no masks.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Anything else? I always let you have the final word.
I just thank everybody, so much. Again, wrapping up a successful freshman campaign again. Had a very good year on JV. We've had tons and tons of people supporting our program. Tons of folks sponsoring win time meals. Tons of folks sponsoring pregame meals and all the work, and just all the parent volunteers and everything. We hope we've got a long way to go in this football season. That's one thing that I was telling our seniors today. You've got 2 more guaranteed, but it's up to you how many more you want to have. And that's a kind of a theme that we're trying to get across to them, is how many more Fridays do you have left? And so it's really starting to hit home, I think, for some of our guys, and our juniors will be there before they know it.
Gosh, yes, it goes quickly.
Because how fast this past year has went. So, thank you to everyone who has supported our program. Please continue to support our program. Please support these guys on the playoff run. They have worked extremely hard. Our off season began literally the Monday after we got put out of the playoffs last year.
In the weight room.
We got beat by Henry Clay on Friday night, whatever, I think it was November the 7th or whatever. And that following Monday, our guys literally went to work in the weight room getting ready for this year. So,
and nutrition's important too. We don't want to leave that out.
All of it. It really is.
It's all works together.
Yeah. So a lot of time that
Keep
these guys
healthy.
have put into it, and for an opportunity to do something special. So all that work, please support them.
Yes, absolutely. One last question. Did you watch the UK game Saturday night?
I got to see the very end.
That was the best part.
Yes, I got to cut to the chase. I had to.
Did you think that it was going in?
We had several things going on. Yeah.
50. What was it? 51-yarder.
That's right. Yeah, it was. It was a great hold, great snap, great kick. That's what you had to have, and the look of relief on Coach Stoops' face was priceless.
That's right. That's right.
Because that's what it was. It was pure relief. I know the feeling.
You've been there.
The wins never feel as good as the losses hurt, ever.
Oh, yes.
But sometimes it's just that sheer feeling of relief.
All right. Well, Coach, we'll be there Friday night. In fact, we're shooting it live. So don't think that you can stay at home and watch it. You can watch the replay of it. We need you there. So.
Right. The live shot is for the sick folks who can't get out
Who
of the house.
can't get out of the house.
Yeah, that's right.
But we need you there. But we are shooting it live. So if you are sick or injured, watch it live. It'll be on Facebook, MadisonCountySchoolSports.com, or go to our Facebook page. So, important rivalry this coming Friday night, Madison Central at Madison Southern. So, Coach, we usually do these shows after a home game, so we won't talk next week, but we'll talk the week after that.
Right, after Campbell County.
Yep.
Good deal.
All right. So good luck both games.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you soon.
Showdown in the South. This Friday, the Madison Southern Eagles host the Madison Central Indians. Live. Thanks to our great sponsors, Jack Burford Chevrolet, ExpressRoofing.net, Cumberland Valley National Bank, CSEP, State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goble Agent, Luxury Pet Services, Equipment, Sales and Rentals, May Marketing, KYmedia.net, Real Life Community Church, Time Warner Cable, and Madison County Schools.
Hello everyone, I'm Madison County Schools Superintendent Elmer Thomas, and I want to thank you for watching Madison County School Sports Television.
Follow Madison County School Sports Television on Twitter, or like us on Facebook, MCS TV, and of course, watch all of our videos on YouTube. Showdown in the South. This Friday, the Madison Southern Eagles host the Madison Central Indians.